Good morning, good morning, good morning, my friends. Thank you for joining me. My name is Tina Kavergich, and I am Northern Stamper. And it is the last week of November, and we are going to be making some really great cards using some designer series paper. I've got a few pieces left. I am very excited to be making this card. And actually, the DSP we're using is actually on the cover of the mini catalog. Don't forget, if you're watching, I'd really love to know where you're checking in from. Say hello. Let's see what everybody is up to. I'm very excited. The mini catalog goes from September to December, so you got one more month, but they got so many great things in here. For the month of December, for Takeaway Tuesday, I am using the Love and Courage stamp set. It is a great stamp set. It is for you are donating $4 per sale of stamp set. You can see how well I've used this already. Oh my goodness. $4 to breast cancer organization in the each area from the sale of this stamp set. I'm very excited. I'm going to be making some great cards on that, and I hope you'll be joining me. If you have any questions about it, northernstamper@gmail.com. So excited, so excited. So there's some really great stuff still in this mini catalog. I just love it. One of the ones I had just purchased is on page 37, and I just recently purchased the dies from the Light and Wonder bundle. You can kind of see them there, the dies there. And they are all about trees, and I am very excited. I had a friend of mine, she kind of popped up and mentioned about how great they are. And you know what? I totally missed them, so I decided to buy them. That was a treat for myself, and I used my Stampin' Rewards that I had collected, and these became free for me. Oh, what a great deal. So I added that to my collection. It is absolutely fantastic, and I'm excited to be making some cards with it coming up. Don't forget to like and follow my page for many ideas and suggestions that I have coming up. You don't want to miss any of it. So, Takeaway Tuesday is all about making cards. Now, you can use the cards, the items that I am using. I do make packages for you and I can send them out to you. Or you can just take a look in your stash and you can create something yourself. You know what? It is all about creating. I am very excited for that. Good morning, Sharon, and good morning, Carol. Carol, I have to give a shout out. She was the amazing card maker for the card I did and posted, I believe it was yesterday. It was absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. Thank you so much, Carol. I really appreciated getting it. So let's take a look at what we're going to be making today. Now, this is a very simple card, and what I want you to do, mainly what we're going to look at is using the designer series paper on this card. So I've chosen a designer series paper, and you're going to have it at 5 1/4 tall by 4 1/4 wide. Now it's a little longer, but the reason is we are going to be doing something with that. Okay, so I want it a little bit wider. So you can see there is a bit of an edge on the top and the bottom, and that's what I wanted. So this is just a regular card base. I'm using Secret C. There we go. It's just a regular card base, and we're going to be doing some changes to this. So make sure that you follow along. Now, I'm curious. Give me a thumbs up if you're crafting along with me, or give me a comment or some kind of emoji if you're just watching for the inspiration and might make the card later. I'm just kind of curious who's crafting along at the exact same time, or they watch and then they make it later. I'm just curious. Anyways, so let's get started. When you have these pieces all ready, let me know. Really, it's only 2 pieces. Oh my goodness. All right. What we're going to do is we are going to use our card base. Okay. So what I'm going to do first is I need to do a little bit of um, cutting off the first piece. Oh, yes, Janet, Black Friday starts today. Stampin' Up! Does offer a sale. Thank you very much for reminding me. And they are offering bundles on sales on ink refills, Stampin' Blends, which is my absolute favorite. Stampin' Blends. I love Stampin' Blends. You get a percentage off on that. Those are great to sign up with. Also, they are offering, I think it was 15% off some of the card stock, which is white, very vanilla, and black. But be careful because you know what? They are going super duper quick. I cannot believe it. Super duper quick. I went to click and buy some adhesive and it was gone. And then I went to click again just to reload it and it was back in. And then I clicked again and it was out of stock. So I got my glue before it went in and out very quickly. If you have any questions, drop me an email, northernstamper@gmail.com. I am happy to help you out any way that I can. So thank you very much, Janet, for pointing that out. Yes. So let's get back to our card. What we're going to be doing is, oh, you can barely see that. We're going to be cutting off 1 3/4 off the front. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Now I'm going to take my trimmer and I'm going to turn this upside down because I want to see the numbers on this side, on the left side. So 1 3/4. So I'm going to put it at 1 3/4. Right? Can we see that? There we go. And I'm just going to cut. Okay, I'm going to cut that off. Oh my goodness, look at that. I think I need a new blade. And guess what? They're on sale. This is the time to get blades. All right. Do I have a blade here? I do have a new blade here. So I'm just going to pop that in. And sometimes just be really careful when you change your blades. There's sometimes I went to go kind of take it out of the scoring blade and I cut my fingers, as you can tell. So just be careful when you are changing the cutting blade. You don't want to cut your fingers. They are super sharp. Okay, so there we go. I could tell it was time to change the blade because it's like a little ragged here. So we'll just change that. So we cut off 1 3/4 off the front here. So there, so it's like that. Okay. We're going to hold on to this piece because we're going to use this for something else. Oh my goodness, I forgot to add there. We needed a piece of white for the inside. I just got to make sure. I totally forgot about that. Sorry. So it was, 3 pieces we needed. So there's our card base. I'm going to cut down my piece of white, which is 4 inches by 5 1/4, which is done. And that will go on the inside. I do apologize for that. I was just so excited with the DSP. I guess I just totally forgot about the inside. All right, so we have that. So when I put this together, now you're not going to glue this white down quite yet, okay? We're going to do some work with this. And I have my piece, and this is going to go on the front. Okay, so what I'm going to do, since we have our trimmer out, I'm going to take that piece that we just cut off, and I'm going to trim it to, there we go, let's put that on there. I'm going to trim it to 4 1/4 by 1 1/2. So it's 4 1/4 this way. Actually, I'm going to score it. Not going to trim it, I'm going to score it. Okay, hold on. Just going to write that on here. I'm going to score it, right? We're not going to trim it, otherwise we can't make our little thing. So score at 1 1/4. So I'm going to take it here, so 4 1/4, and double check that you're not using the cutting. We're going to score it, okay? And we need to make a bend. So I'm going to turn this to 1 1/2, and it is just about 1 1/2, and I'm just going to trim that off a little bit. 1 1/2. Okay, so I've scored it and I've made a little bit of a bend. Very important. You're going to make a little bit of a bend. Okay, so there we go. So I'm going to bring back in my card, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece and I'm actually going to tuck it around the back. Now I do not want to lose this. So what I'm going to do is double check. Okay, I'm going to need to move this over a little bit. Let's open up this card. And I want to center the white. So I found an easy way to do that is I'm going to take my adhesive, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of adhesive to the top. Okay, just to the top. Now I'm not putting it on the bottom, but just to the top. And I'm going to put it in here. And I'm going to center it for top, bottom, left, and right to have a nice frame all the way around. Okay, there we go. Now it's just on the top, so I can still lift this just like that. Okay, the reason I want to do that is because this piece that we created, that we trimmed down, is going to go kind of behind that piece of white. But I want it to be so it's even with the card base, not the white. So I need to make sure that it goes all the way around. So on the left and right. So it's nice and flush with the card base itself, not the piece of white, but the card base. Okay, so this piece is still stuck, which is great. I'm going to add a little bit of adhesive to this flap. So I've added it on the flap. I'm going to flip this up, and it really doesn't matter if you put it up high. You can put it up high if you like, in the middle or near the bottom. It is totally up to you, but it is very important that you get to the left and the right flush with the card base. Okay, so there we go. And I've pressed it down, and it is in the right spot now. So I don't have to worry. I can add a little bit of adhesive, and that piece of white is down. Okay, so, oh, this looks like, oh, it's all hairy there. So that portion of the card base is created. So there's our flap, and it really doesn't matter where you place it. Okay, so this is creating the card base. Now the designer series paper, remember we had it 5 1/4 tall, so that's 5 1/4 tall. Whoops. Okay, so 5 1/4, see the top and the bottom, but now it is too wide, so we need to cut this down. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this. All right, let's get a piece. I want to make sure that you can see everything. And I'm going to double check the measurements because it's very important. And I'm going to cut this. So if I measure it, I'm going to cut my piece of DSP to 2, double check, and 1/4. I'd rather check than just assume. So I measured that. So that space right here is 2 1/4. Okay, so I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to cut it at 2 1/4. Let me double check. Oh, so the DSP is going to be 2 1/4. Okay, that's what you're going to cut your DSP to. So let's cut that 2 1/4. Okay, there we go. So that piece of DSP is now cut into 2 pieces. I think that's it for the trimmer. Okay, and I'm going to lay it down, and look at that, it fits. So that piece of DSP is 2 1/4. Okay, so the remainder I'm going to glue on the other half on the inside. Okay, so it goes like this. So 2 1/4 of the DSP. Let's just put that on there so you can see. And I'm going to glue this on right on top of the front. Here we go. And that extra piece we had left over, so it was, remember, it was a little larger. It's just so it kind of overlaps on the inside. So I'm going to take that piece and place it on the piece of white on the inside. I put a little piece here and a little piece here. We're going to place that on the inside. Okay, so we have it like that and that. The only piece that we need left was a piece of a designer series paper that I had marked, and it was 1 1/4 by 4, so that should fit right on top there. And you want something that is not going to take over too much from the other piece of designer series paper that we use. So if I could use this red, the red looks really nice. Could use that. There we go. There's the red. Or I could use the Secret Sea. I don't know which one looks better. Oh my goodness, that's a tough one. I don't know, black or the Secret Sea or the red. Oh, I don't know. They both look really great. I'm not really sure which one. Which one do you think would be better on here? You let me know. In the meantime, what I'd like you to do, now you're on the front of this card. I decided I'm going to go into my stash, which is all of my paper pumpkin and all of my ephemera packs and everything like that. And I'm going to look through all of those items to see what I can use on the front. Now, I didn't want to just use um, the a stamp set like a flower. I wanted something a little different because I have a lot of stash. Oh, everybody likes the red, so let's go with the red. I have a lot of items in my stash, and I'm going to use some of those. So, oh my goodness, that red does look stunning. Great suggestion. So an edge all the way around on that. Okay, so what I did is I went to some of my paper pumpkins that I was just doing, and there was one that had a red truck, and there was one that was what is a nutcracker. So I thought I'm going to pull those out. And look, I have a red truck that I can place on top. I thought that's really cool. And from the Nutcracker, I have this leftover Cheers, and I thought that is super cool. I like the gold that is in the word Cheers, and I thought it works really well. And I wanted to use up some stuff that I have because I have a hard time parting with items that I have in my kits, so I thought I'd pop it on there. So I thought I'd use the truck and the Cheers for this. Now, I think it looks pretty good. I like that. And of course, you know what? Let's add some more gold to that. Look at that. I'm going to add some more of this open weave gold ribbon, which sadly is now gone. Oh my goodness. And I can't believe it. I've actually even made it to the end of my roll. Oh, so sad. So I'm going to take some of this open weave gold ribbon and let's place it. Should we place it behind the truck a little bit? A little bit like this, kind of popping up. Oh yeah, I should put another piece on the other side. Wow, that's really nice. Let's do that. I'm going to use this. I think it works really nice. And all I'm going to do is just add it behind there. Let's get some glue down. And you know what? I strongly suggest take a look and see what you have left over in your paper pumpkin boxes or your odds and ends and add them to your cards. Now, I'm not saying that a card definitely matches a poinsettia, but you know, I think it looks pretty good. Now, just be careful when you're adding this that you don't glue it too much. Now, some of this is going to stand up, but I've put some glue down. So I need to place it a little bit lower on this strip because it was a little bit sticky on the back, and I don't want it too sticky and close the card closed. So I'm going to place that there, and I'm actually going to pop that up right on top. I can put that over here. I can offset it. I think I kind of like it right over the truck itself. Okay. And I'm going to add some dimensionals to give it some height. Remember where you're putting your glue so that you don't glue your card closed. That is a no-no. Okay. And look, this card is almost finished. Look, that looks fantastic. Let's see what embellishments we have. I'm gonna look through my stash again. look for some embellishments. Oh, and I got some gold ones. Oh my goodness, look at that. Add those on. Apparently they don't want to come out, but let's give it a try. Move those over. Oh, these are stubborn little guys. There we go. And we'll add some of those on. There we go. Add some embellishments. You can always look in your stash and see what you have. Always. It is, oh my goodness, that turned out really, really nice. I like that. I really like it with the truck, so it kind of pops up. There we go. It pops up, but apparently I stuck down my ribbon. Oh dear. There we go. There we go. And it just kind of tucks under. There we go. I have it like this. It opens like that. Oh my goodness. Be careful on where you put your glue. There we go. So I've used the sentiment as a little bit to hold the truck closed. Just be careful that you don't glue your card closed like I just kind of did with the ribbon. Ha ha! Sometimes that happens. It's a learning opportunity. Oh, that is so cute. What a very quick card. And you know what? You can make a lot of these in time for Christmas. What do you think of today's card? I just love it. I think it's great. I love the ideas that you can see the designer series paper. I really, really think that's great. You know what? I really like how this truck goes under the sentiment to kind of close up a bit, to hold it closed. Hey, that's kind of cool. There. There we go. Just don't glue it closed like I did. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me. I hope this has inspired you to try this card design and using up some of the items in your stash. Don't forget, look at your paper pumpkins and see what you have and you can use. Thank you so much for joining me. Oops. My name is Tina Kavrigich, and I am a Northern Stamper. If you have any questions, northernstamper@gmail.com. Thanks so much, and I will see you next time when we create with the Love and Courage stamp set. Take care and have a great day.